Listen to me, because this year doesn't need another version of you. It needs a disciplined you, not the you that shows up when you feel like it, but the you that shows up even when your feelings don't agree. Some of you have been letting your mood hold the steering wheel, and your future is sitting in the backseat. But 2026 is not the year of emotional decisions. It's the year of intentional direction. If you only move when motivation hits you, you will stay exactly where you are. But when you follow a plan, even on days you feel tired, discouraged, or overlooked, progress has no choice but to show up. So I came to tell somebody today, follow your plan, not your mood, because your mood will lie to, but a God-given plan will pull you forward. Your mood is temporary, but your purpose is permanent. Feelings are powerful, but they are also unpredictable. They rise and fall based on sleep, stress, people, weather, opinions, and circumstances you cannot control. One day you feel strong, confident, and ready to conquer the world. The next day you wake up heavy, unsure, tired, and questioning everything you believed in yesterday. If your life is built on how you feel, then your direction will constantly change. That is why so many people start strong and stop suddenly. They didn't lose their calling, they lost emotional alignment. Purpose does not disappear because you feel tired. Destiny does not expire because you feel discouraged. The assignment on your life does not change just because today feels harder than yesterday. Your purpose existed before your current emotions showed up, and it will remain long after those emotions pass. Feelings speak loudly, but they are not wise leaders. They react to pain, fear, and comfort, while purpose responds to vision, commitment, and obedience. When you allow your mood to make decisions, you give temporary emotions authority over eternal direction. That is a dangerous exchange. Feelings will tell you to quit when progress is forming quietly beneath the surface. They will convince you that nothing is working when growth is simply invisible. They will whisper retreat when the breakthrough is one step ahead. Purpose does not need your permission to exist, but it does require your cooperation to manifest. And cooperation does not come from emotion, it comes from resolve. There will be days you do not feel qualified, inspired, or ready. Those days are not signs to stop, they are invitations to mature. Purpose is proven in moments when emotion refuses to cooperate. Anyone can move when they feel good, but transformation happens when you move despite how you feel. That is where character is formed and capacity is stretched. Feelings ask, do I feel like it today? Purpose asks, what am I responsible for today? Feelings seek comfort. Purpose demands consistency. Feelings want relief. Purpose requires endurance. If you wait to feel ready, you will delay what is already assigned to you. Purpose is not activated by excitement. It is activated by obedience. The people who change their lives are not the ones who always feel motivated, but the ones who refuse to let temporary emotions veto permanent direction. Your mood is a visitor. It comes, it speaks, and it leaves. Purpose is a resident. It stays when applause is gone, when energy is low, and when results are slow. You do not abandon your home because a visitor is uncomfortable. You let the visitor pass and remain rooted in what belongs to you. When you learn to separate what you feel from who you are called to be, you stop self-sabotaging your future. You stop quitting seasons that were meant to shape you. You stop mislabeling emotional fatigue as failure. In 2026, you cannot afford to be emotionally led. This year requires emotional intelligence, not emotional obedience. Feel what you feel, but do not let it decide for you. Honor your emotions, but do not worship them. Your purpose is bigger than your mood, stronger than your fear, and more patient than your frustration. When feelings calm down, and they always do, you will be grateful you did not let a temporary emotion cancel a permanent assignment. Discipline will take you where motivation never can. Motivation is emotional, and emotions are inconsistent. They rise when things are exciting and disappear when things become repetitive, uncomfortable, or slow. Motivation loves beginnings. It celebrates new goals, fresh starts, and big announcements. But motivation rarely stays for the middle, and it almost never shows up for the grind. If your progress depends on how inspired you feel, then your progress will always be fragile. Discipline, on the other hand, does not ask how you feel before it moves. It operates on decision, not emotion. It shows up when motivation has already made excuses and gone silent. Motivation will get you started, but discipline is what keeps you moving when the excitement wears off. The people who actually change their lives are not the most inspired ones. They are the most consistent ones. Discipline creates structure where motivation creates sparks. Sparks are powerful, but they burn out quickly. Structure holds weight. Structure lasts. Discipline builds habits that carry you forward even on days when your energy is low and your confidence is quiet. That is why discipline outperforms motivation every time. It does not need perfect conditions to function. There will be mornings when you do not feel driven, nights when you feel exhausted, and seasons when progress feels painfully slow. Motivation will tell you to wait for a better day, a better mood, or a better moment. Discipline will tell you to execute anyway. Discipline understands something. Motivation does not forward motion matters more than emotional readiness. Small actions done consistently will outperform powerful intentions done occasionally. Discipline turns effort into identity. You stop trying to be consistent and start becoming consistent. Discipline also protects you from yourself. When emotions are high, motivation can push you into impulsive decisions. When emotions are low, motivation can disappear completely. Discipline stays steady in both extremes. It keeps you grounded when success tries to inflate your ego, and it keeps you moving when failure tries to drain your hope. Discipline does not promise comfort, it promises results. It trains you to do what needs to be done regardless of applause, recognition, or immediate reward. Motivation responds to feelings. Discipline responds to commitment. Commitment says, I decided already. That decision removes daily negotiation. When you are disciplined, you no longer ask yourself if you feel like showing up. You show up because it is who you are now. Discipline simplifies life. It reduces internal conflict because the decision has already been made. The energy you used to spend debating now gets invested in building. Discipline may feel restrictive at first, but it eventually creates freedom. The freedom of momentum, the freedom of progress, the freedom of knowing that your future is not dependent on your emotional state. Motivation gives you moments. Discipline gives you movement. Motivation excites you. Discipline transforms you. When motivation fades, and it will, discipline remains. And in 2026, the people who win will not be the ones who felt inspired the longest, but the ones who stayed disciplined when inspiration ran out. A plan gives structure when emotions bring chaos. Emotions are powerful, but they are not organized. They react faster than they reason. And when pressure rises, they scatter your focus. One moment you feel confident, the next moment you are overwhelmed, questioning your direction, your timing, and even your ability. That emotional turbulence does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. But when emotions are left unmanaged, they create confusion, hesitation, and inconsistency. This is where a plan becomes essential. A plan does not eliminate emotion, but it stabilizes you when emotions try to destabilize your direction. A plan gives you something solid to return to when your mind feels noisy. When emotions start shouting, a plan speaks quietly but clearly. It reminds you of what you already decided when you were calm, focused, and thinking long term. Emotional moments are not the time to rewrite your future. A plan protects you from making permanent decisions in temporary emotional states. It slows you down when panic wants you to rush and pushes you forward when fear wants you to freeze. Structure is not restrictive, it is grounding. When life hits unexpectedly, emotions demand immediate reactions. A plan encourages intentional responses. Without a plan, every challenge feels like an emergency, every setback feels personal, and every delay feels like denial. With a plan, you understand that obstacles are part of the process, not proof that the process is broken. The plan becomes a filter through which you interpret difficulty. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, where does this fit in the journey? That shift alone changes how you handle pressure. A plan also reduces emotional exhaustion. Decision fatigue drains more energy than hard work. When you are constantly deciding what to do next, Your emotions take over and amplify stress. A plan removes unnecessary choices. You are no longer guessing, reacting, or drifting. You are executing. That clarity brings peace even when circumstances are uncertain. You may not control everything happening around you, but you can control your commitment to the process you mapped out. Emotions thrive in uncertainty, but structure creates stability. A plan gives your emotions boundaries. It allows you to feel disappointment without derailing your direction. It allows you to feel tired without stopping your movement. It allows you to feel discouraged without abandoning your assignment. The plan does not promise that you will always feel good. It promises that you will always know what to do next. That knowledge is powerful. When chaos shows up, the plan becomes your anchor. When doubt creeps in, the plan becomes your reminder. When motivation disappears, the plan becomes your instruction manual. You stop relying on emotional bursts and start trusting strategic steps. Progress becomes less dramatic, but more dependable. You are no longer driven by urgency. You are guided by intention. A plan turns emotional energy into productive action. Instead of letting feelings control your direction, you use structure to channel those feelings forward. You learn that clarity beats confidence and preparation outlasts passion. In seasons where emotions are unstable, the plan keeps you standing. It does not change who you are becoming, but it ensures you do not lose your way while becoming it. Consistency beats intensity every time. Intensity is loud, visible, and impressive, but it is rarely sustainable. It shows up in bursts of passion, long hours, emotional commitment, and dramatic promises. Intensity makes you feel powerful in the moment, but it often leaves you exhausted, discouraged, and inconsistent afterward. Many people mistake intensity for progress because it feels productive, but intensity without consistency is like a fire that burns bright and then goes out. It creates heat, not lasting change. Consistency is quieter. It does not announce itself. It does not rely on emotional highs or perfect conditions. It shows up the same way on ordinary days as it does on exciting ones. Consistency does not demand your best day. It only asks for your next faithful step. That is why it wins. While intensity waits for inspiration, consistency builds momentum. While intensity seeks dramatic results, consistency compounds small actions into powerful outcomes over time. Intense effort may impress people, but consistent effort changes lives. Anyone can push hard for a short season. Very few people are willing to show up steadily when the results are slow, the work is repetitive, and the recognition is minimal. Consistency requires humility because it does not always feel heroic. It requires patience because the rewards are delayed, but it also creates trust with yourself. Every time you show up consistently, you prove that you can be relied on. That internal trust becomes confidence, not the loud kind, but the quiet kind that doesn't shake under pressure. Intensity often leads to burnout because it demands more than your system can sustain. Consistency respects your capacity while still stretching it. It understands that progress is not built in extremes, but in rhythms. Life is not a sprint powered by emotion. It is a journey guided by endurance. Consistency creates habits, and habits shape identity. Over time, you stop forcing yourself to do the work because the work becomes part of who you are. What once required effort now feels natural. Consistency also protects you from discouragement. When you rely on intensity, bad days feel devastating because you expect high performance every time. When you rely on consistency, bad days are simply part of the process. You no longer judge yourself by one moment. You measure yourself by your pattern. That perspective keeps you moving even when things don't go as planned. You learn that progress does not disappear because one day was difficult. Small, consistent actions may seem insignificant, but they are powerful because they stack. What feels minor today becomes massive tomorrow. Growth rarely announces itself. It happens quietly while you keep showing up. Consistency allows time to work in your favor. It gives space for learning, adjustment, and refinement. Instead of chasing quick wins, you build something stable and sustainable. Intensity is fueled by emotion, and emotion fluctuates. Consistency is fueled by commitment, and commitment endures. When excitement fades, consistency remains. When energy dips, consistency adapts. When motivation disappears, consistency continues. Over time, Consistency does what intensity never could. It carries you through seasons, not just moments. And in 2026, the ones who win will not be the ones who started the strongest, but the ones who stayed consistent when intensity was no longer enough. Your future rewards your habits, not your feelings. Many people wait for the perfect emotional state to act, believing that if they feel motivated, inspired, or confident, success will follow. The truth is, feelings are unreliable indicators of what you should do next. They fluctuate daily, influenced by sleep, stress, opinions, and circumstances beyond your control. Some days you wake up inspired, and some days you wake up discouraged. If your progress depended on how you feel, your life would be a constant cycle of starting and stopping, rising and falling, advancing and retreating. Success does not honor temporary emotions. It honors consistent, intentional habits. Habits are the small actions you repeat until they define you. They are not flashy, they do not require emotional highs, and they rarely feel urgent, but their impact is exponential. Each time you act according to a good habit, you are building a foundation that no temporary feeling can destroy. Habits are like seeds. They grow silently and steadily, eventually producing results far greater than a single burst of effort ever could. When you focus on habits instead of feelings, you anchor your future to stability rather than volatility. Your growth becomes inevitable because it is no longer dependent on circumstances, but on your repeated choices. Feelings can mislead you. They tell you to wait until you are ready, until conditions are perfect, until energy returns, or until inspiration hits. They encourage procrastination, rationalization, and delay. Habits, however, operate independently of these fluctuations. Habits tell you to move even when emotions are absent. They push you forward when motivation is low and provide a framework for action when life feels overwhelming. That is why those who succeed do not always feel ready. They are simply prepared, disciplined, and consistent in their habits. Your daily routines, no matter how small, compound over time. Waking up early, prioritizing tasks, learning continuously, exercising, planning, saving, or meditating may not feel exciting today. You may not notice immediate results, but these repeated actions accumulate and shape your reality. In the same way, neglecting habits, even temporarily, creates stagnation. Every missed action delays your progress, no matter how inspired you feel in the moment. Habits are the true currency of progress, while feelings are a fleeting, unreliable investment. When you commit to aligning your life with habits rather than moods, you gain freedom. You no longer negotiate with every passing emotion. You no longer need to feel inspired to take action. You simply follow the system you have built. Over time, these habits become part of your identity. You do not have to force yourself to act because consistent actions become who you are. Your habits define your character, shape your choices, and ultimately determine your destiny. Success is not instantaneous, and feelings are not permanent. Your emotions may tell you to quit, rest, or delay, but your habits will carry you forward regardless. When the years pass, you will not remember the days you felt motivated. You will remember the results you achieved because you acted consistently, faithfully, and intentionally. The reward of your future is not found in fleeting emotions. It is found in the daily habits you cultivate, protect, and honor. 2026 requires obedience, not excuses. So often, people wait for the perfect circumstances, the perfect timing, or the perfect emotional state before they take action. They justify delays with reasons that sound logical. I need more time. I'm not ready yet. I don't feel motivated. But these excuses are the chains that keep potential locked away. Obedience is the antidote to excuses. It is the decision to act regardless of how you feel, what is happening around you, or how difficult the path appears. Obedience is not about blind action. It is about honoring a plan, a vision, or a purpose bigger than the temporary discomfort of the moment. Excuses are comforting because they protect you from discomfort. They allow you to stay in a place that feels safe even if it is unproductive. But safety does not produce results. Growth never asks for comfort, it asks for compliance. Obedience is the practice of saying yes to what you know you are supposed to do, even when every part of you resists. It requires courage because it asks you to prioritize what is necessary over what is convenient. It demands persistence because progress is rarely instantaneous. Obedience is what turns potential into performance, vision into reality, and dreams into tangible outcomes. When you choose obedience over excuses, you begin to reclaim control over your life. Life is unpredictable. Circumstances change, people fail you, opportunities appear and disappear. Your feelings fluctuate. If you allow excuses to dictate your actions, you hand over your power to every external factor. Obedience, however, roots you in something internal and unshakable. It gives you a foundation that cannot be swayed by momentary setbacks, by the opinions of others, or by temporary discomfort. Obedience keeps you moving forward even when the path is steep, the days are long, and the results seem invisible. Excuses are like quicksand. They look harmless until you are stuck. Every excuse you allow pulls you further away from your goals and your calling. They delay your destiny, rob your momentum, and weaken your resolve. Obedience is the rope that pulls you out. When you act in obedience, even in small steps, you create movement. Movement generates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. Momentum produces results. And results build belief in yourself and in your ability to overcome obstacles. Obedience is also an act of faith. It is the belief that your planned purpose or calling is bigger than the temporary discomfort you feel today. It is trusting that consistent action, even when difficult, will produce the harvest you cannot yet see. Every great life, every successful career, every transformative achievement has been built on obedience. The willingness to do what needs to be done, not when it feels good, but when it is required. The people who succeed are not necessarily more talented or more motivated. They are more faithful to their commitments. In 2026, there will be challenges. There will be distractions, doubts, and days that test your determination. Excuses will seem attractive, and giving in to them will feel justified. But this year rewards those who do not negotiate with discomfort, who do not allow feelings or circumstances to dictate action, and who choose obedience over convenience. Obedience builds consistency, resilience, and character. It is the bridge between intention and achievement. If you commit to obedience, you will discover that your excuses have no power over your progress, your purpose, or your potential. The moment you stop excusing yourself is the moment your life begins to move forward with unstoppable force. Listen to me. 2026 is not a year for waiting on your feelings, your moods, or your motivation. It is a year for decisions, for discipline, for obedience. Your plan is not negotiable, your purpose is not optional, and your future is not dependent on how you feel today. You will stumble, you will get tired, but you will not stop, because the world is not moved by your emotions. It is moved by your commitment. So I'm telling somebody today, stand firm, follow your plan, and let no mood, fear, or excuse steal your destiny. Your time is now.